good afternoon, and I know it's a bit difficult post lunch, and after the heavy lunch, it's not easy to stay back and sit back and listen, and that to the topic which is most common, and it's also, I mean, for me, it's a mutual fund is a mutual friend, and it's a topic is also a very friendly topic. I mean, and glad to be here back, and I'm sorry, when he's asked, thanks to Mohit for this opportunity. I was a little unwell, and I said I may or I may not make it, and fortunately I made it, and I may not be not in the same usual energy where I can wake each one of you up after the lunch. As long as I am not waking up, it's fine. But if I am not making you to sleep, then it's a problem. Welcome back, and we are starting little late of 12 minutes. And I was told I need to complete. Though you start late, but you have to end by on time. This is a message Mohit was giving. I mean, now the challenge is to get in 18 minutes. And I am a typical South Indian, and when South Indian speaks, South Indian he or she speaks at 180 words to 200 words per minute. Now I need to go at 240 to 300 words per minute. Then let me see. And welcome again. It's like largely when I used to do this session in the morning with all of them. We have Partha or Parimal sir, those sessions in the morning, and Devi ji. This is we are the morning batch guys, and today I moved to the second half. Glad once again, and I'll quickly. Yeah, this is a discussion which we are going to look at. One is on India at 100, and in terms of not only the democracy we celebrate after, our independence of 100 and 2047. It's also how we can look at economy, what's happening, and how this will impact on the mutual fund industry. I presume every one of us in this room or have one or the other folios in the mutual funds and having exposed invested. Most of the times I used to see the wonderful students around. I'm missing some of them today. I mean, otherwise, they're like fun to go. I think some of them are still there. How many of you have not invested in the mutual funds? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. And post this session, I look forward to have you and invite you to the mutual fund industry. Thank you. And this is what we will discuss about not only the mutual fund industry, but also in India, Kal, Aaj, or or Kal. This was used to be in 1970s, one of the famous Bollywood movie. I mean, but it's always good. Our future is promising. But what is our past and where is our present? How we can make our future much better? And sometimes, people nicely, they put it like this, past is a history, future is a mystery. And being in the present is always the better way, and whether that is also true for the mutual fund industry or Indian economy. And when your past is little difficult, then your future also looks little difficult. And mutual funds will always have a tagline. My friend Jaideep sir will always talk about it is mutual funds are subject to market risk, and past performance may not be related to the future performance. And similarly, our past may not be related to the future. We are here to make that future. And looking back for this, let us just reflect post-lunch, little bit of a reflection of our nation. What is that we need to be proud of? I think even we can discuss for one day, we need to take that pride. We have become born into India, this wonderful nation. And being an Indian itself is the greatest pride to be an Indian. And this nation which has given, either it's one of the many it has given. One of the few, if we can talk about, it is about the first university in the world we have given, which is in Takshila, which is having, in those days, it's every year you have 10,000 students who are passed, and you have 300 classrooms and library, and entire laboratory was there. I mean, it's imagine it's a period, and we are the one who gave the number 0 to the world. And if some of us are calculating very comfortably with a 0, and probably we would not have become hero, but we made that 0 given to the world. And the game of chess, which is called Chaturanga, which has got invented in India. I mean, it's even a simple thing what we use in the everyday morning, the shampoo. I mean, that is also has come from India. Or that cure for the leprosy, it is from India. Or it's a Ayurveda, which you can talk about, Sushruta. It's a rock age period of time where we gave. Probably some of our neighbors known for giving virus. We are a nation known for giving vaccine. That's the pride we need to belong to, and that's where we all need to take. Being an Indian is a great stuff to do. But how did we do in economy? economy, if I can take 2000 in one slide, if you are talking about 2000 history, 2000 years history of Indian economy and Indian GDP, where we were standing, at least one third of the time we are almost at 30% of the GDP of the world. And it's only after 1500 we started shrinking down, and no, it's a we India and China together little over 45 to 50% of the GDP in the global economy. And I mean, where it has got lost, where we have lost, why we have missed this bus, and what could have happened? Is that somebody has invaded, or somebody has taken away our wealth? Are we complacent, and what's happening? Probably this is a period we are talking about. I mean, I still love, like, when we have celebrated our 75th years of Independence Day, Azadi Ki Amrit Kal, I mean, Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav, and a year before, a couple of years onwards, we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Kudos to this government, which is talking about self-reliant India. It is it is Swanirbar Bharat or Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant. We are in this journey to make it, and we started journey with Swachh Bharat, and now we are talking about Samruddhi Bharat. And that is where we have Atmanirbhar Bharat. Each of us are going to be a wealthy Indians, not just an Indians. The prosperity which we had, we need to live back and get back, and we have to live that prosperity. How we can do that? And what is that research talking about? If you can go back to the Morgan Stanley report, which has come last December, which talks about it is going to be an India's decade. I mean, which gives a narrative how each of these sectors can contribute to the GDP, how the services can help, how the manufacturing. And, post-pandemic, we have not only bounced back, but we are becoming emerging much, much stronger. But when Morgan Stanley says it's India's decade, someone else was going to talk to you, and McKinsey CEO says it is not going to be a decade, it's going to be an India century. Means, it's not only the next 10 years, next 25 years, next 100 years. I mean, we are just going to talk today about India at 100, that is at 2047. But, the McKinsey's chief, when he came to India, he said, it is not India's decade, but it's India's century. It is truly now we are here to step up for celebrating that Amrit Kal. I mean, Honorable Finance Minister, when she presented her budget on 1st of February, we have seen, our first words is, this is the first budget towards stepping way for the Amrit Kal. Means, we are stepping up for the next 25 years of the prosperity. But probably all of us here to make that to grow. I mean, I keep telling my colleagues and, a lot of distribution friends where I meet, if India is growing at X GDP, and if you are not growing yourself at that GDP, if your net worth is not growing, then you are pulling India down. I mean, rather, you need to contribute to the nation. And this is where we are on the path of global leadership. That's where, if I can get back to read one report, if all of us can have a little more time, which has come during the Davos meet, it's a fan of, it's a New India fact book. It is available on the Google. You can search. It is around 108 pages, and each of them can give such a clarity to you how our vision is being laid down to the action plan leading down to the results which we are intending to get there. And whether it is economy, whether it is a business reforms, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is a technology, or it's a nation of the startups to sustainability, and we are the one, it's the same thing. If we can look at when our Honorable Finance Minister, when she spoke about 7 priorities of the country, that Saptarshi, I mean, all the things have been put into the practice where it is coming in. And if we can look at what is the projection which was looking at Indian economy in terms of what kind of a GDP. Why I am talking, I'll relate to the mutual fund industry little after this. We are looking at India is going to be the second largest economy. This report talks about little over 32 trillion USD. Maybe later, Jaideep sir would like to talk, and at that time how that can look, how far it is real, how far it is, assumptions. But, this is where realistically we can look at. And today the per capita income, this is the most important part for us, those of us who are in the financial services business. Because BFSI, if the people income is growing up, they start investing, they start leveraging, they start borrowing, they start living, then we have BFSI space to grow up. And this is where the per capita income is going to become 10x from now, where we are today, to the 10x in the next 25 years. I mean, we are seeing this quantum leap jump at this point of time for the next 25 years if we are going the way we are growing there. But conservatively, there is another report which was coming at EY during the same time when the Davos presentations were on. EY has put conservative estimate. Probably I look at this could be a most realistic estimate which we can look at India's GDP, which is pegged at 26 trillion, and then it is pegged at per capita income will be coming somewhere at $18,000. That itself is a substantial money. I mean, this is where I come from, the mutual funds, and I work with the mutual fund industry over last 3 decades. I mean, industries evolved so much, and I still remember, when we, way back in 92, 93, there is only one fund house used to be there in the country. Then, of course, two fund houses, State Bank of India, by the time it has come. And, the AUM or the retail investors are now the kind of money which we get today. Today, we have little over 14 crores portfolios, and, almost 3 crore investors which are coming, unique 3 crores investors which are coming. And during pandemic, it has gone really well. And that's where we call mutual fund sahi hai. But this is a broad kal aaj or kal of the mutual fund industry which has started in 1963, and there is a public sector mutual funds, then the emergence of private, then there is a SEBI regulation, and the first the uniform industry, and first 1 trillion to the AUM has come in 2003. And it's today we are 40 trillion, means in the last 20 years how much it is added. It is like what it has given in the first 45 years, and what it has come in the last 20 years is a 40x of that. How this has grown. If you can look at, in spite of the turmoil, in spite of the crisis, there was a global financial crisis, and if I can go back to the mutual fund industry, whether it's a 1992 Arshad Mehta scam, or 96 MS shoe scandal, or 2000 Y2K issue, or 2008 global crisis, but later how the industry has grown today. Today we are little over 40 trillion, and we are growing up, and we are just moving. And this is what exactly, if you can analyze future of asset management industry, how it can look at. If I can take $10 trillion on June 2014, today it is a $20 trillion in 2017, means 2x in a span of 3 years. And later, if I can look at, it's a 3x in a span of it's a 2014 in a 6 years, and now 2014 to 2022, 8 years, we have moved in a 4x. Means its industry is doubling almost every 2 years. And with this, today it's 40 trillion. I mean, we can put our calculators on and back of the envelope calculations on where the mutual fund industry assets can be next. And what exactly is happening? I think there is an overlapping of the lines, and the SIP movement in India. I mean, probably some of you have seen the press note 2 days back, which has come from the AMFI. We have today roughly around 14,000 rupees, 14,000 crores is a SIP book today. It's like, we are adding year after month after month. That's the kind of money which is coming to the mutual fund. It's a retailization. Probably after this crisis, every year we used to look at FIIs. When they are leaving the country, the market used to fall. This time it is otherwise. DIIs have become most dramatic, and retail investors who are participating in this industry. And what is the shift which has happened? It is like from the mutual fund industry earlier predominantly considered the metro, which is moved to Bharat. Whether thanks to our regulator, we started with the journey start in 2008 called B15 markets is a number we used to talk beyond 15 markets, how we need to spread. Today we talk about B30, beyond 30, and then we have moved from it's like a lot of millennials. If I can look at rough portfolios which have come in the last 3 years, little over 45% of the folios come from the millennials, and every third folio has come from the women investors. And this is exactly which has happened, and it's a moneyed class to the mutual fund, to the masses to the mutual fund. And 5 things which have helped the mutual fund industry to grow here and growing back in the days to come. One is the financialization of the savings, which is a very good news for every one of us in the Bfsi here. And the growth in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, the kind of wealth and the managing the wealth, and people are looking at. And third, the regulatory environment. And I think kudos to our regulator, SEBI, very progressive, very pragmatic, and very proactive. And it's an investor first, doesn't matter who and who. I mean, if something is in the interest of investor, it is a regulator who is doing it. It's much ahead of the curve. And the technology which has helped us, digitization has helped us. And last but not the least, increased financial awareness across. Probably people here, many of them are teachers and professors who did wonderful job, like Arunji or Jaidipji, like the kind of work they have done across. It's a kudos to them, the kind of work. And this is where it has come. I mean, probably, this is a moment of pride for all of us in the mutual fund fund industry. Prime Minister of India is talking about one small industry, mutual fund industry, at a forum. I mean, I hope I can play this.
का भी है। एसोसिएशन ऑफ म्यूचुअल फंड्स के मुताबिक 2014 में भारत में म्यूचुअल फंड इंडस्ट्री की एसेट्स अंडर मैनेजमेंट करीब 10 लाख करोड़ थी। इन 8 सालों में जून 2022 तक ये 250% बढ़कर 35 लाख करोड़ हो गई है। यानी लोग इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, वो इसके लिए तैयार हैं। हमें चाहिए कि हम उनके लिए एजुकेशन और इंफॉर्मेशन इंश्योर करें। मैं तो कहूंगा कि हमारे फाइनेंशियल इकोसिस्टम को नॉन फाइनेंस कॉलेज के साथ टाई अप करना चाहिए, युवाओं को एजुकेट करना चाहिए। आखिरकार ये युवा ही हैं जो आने वाले समय में अर्नर्स और इन्वेस्टर्स बनेंगे।
This is exactly, Honorable Prime Minister who spoke on this. Probably, I was talking to one of the entrepreneurs from Bangalore, where Prime Minister was there day before yesterday, whom he met. And, I think we are blessed to have such a Prime Minister who got micro details. Even as my CEO sometimes may not review me in that extent. And he was reviewing how the digital space, what kind of investors who are coming, what is the average stay they are investing, what is the quantum of money they are investing, which are the funds they are investing, what types of funds they are investing. It is like, this is definitely a pride moment. And as he put it rightly, the millennials who is going to lead us. And on this education front, let me take a minute of other side. We do a lot of education programs for the college students. I'm just coming from IIT Kharagpur, and we do this program called My First Paycheck. It's a workshop, and some of the 26 universities we do, some of the universities, they made it mandatory for the final year grads has to undergo this workshop to understand how you intend to manage your money. And yesterday's this budget on the 1st February, which is creating, there is a nudging towards moving from OTR to NTR. There's a new tax regime, and all that what it is going to do is, in our days of time, we are forced to invest and forced to save because of the tax benefits, and there is some wealth we have created by default. And for the next generation, when it comes, there is not the forced, you have given a freedom. Means, earlier it was an entitlement approach, now it is going to be an empowerment approach. That's where you need to learn every rupee you need to save. The youngsters who are sitting there is very first paycheck and has to go to your retirement plan. Probably you need to plan like that. And how the future I can look at in India? This is the potential, like India, we save almost 20 to 30 lakh crores. Presently, we are around 15%. It's a 14 is a little old. 15% of the GDP into the mutual fund industry, and the global average is 62%. And like the countries like US and some of the other countries are beyond 100% of the GDP is going to the mutual funds. And how this can shape it up for us? Once this shift of household savings is happening, which is on the right side, which is going on the financial savings, people are moving from the physical assets to the financial assets. And we look at the aspirations for this decade for the mutual funds at AMFI. We were just looking at is 10 crore investors who are coming. Currently we are 3 crores, which is a 3x of it, and 20% of the households are investing in the mutual funds, and 30% of the GDP, means we are going to double the current mutual fund, the current GDP 15% to 30%. And India is going to be a part of 10 global ranking. Today we are at somewhere at 16, and we intend to have 10 lakh distributors working for the mutual funds. Currently we have little over 1.5 lakh people, almost 10x of it, and we look at it's 120 trillion of AUM which is coming for this. But if I can project this to 2047, this one report which has come from the Niti Aayog, Niti Aayog is much more bullish than what we all at industry look at. Niti Aayog is talking about little over 212 trillion, is a AUM where industry industry is looking at by 2030. But what are these imperatives and accelerated growth? ABC, I mean, it's not Aditya Birla Capital which I am talking about. It's the ABC, these three things which are coming in. One is the progressive economy and proactive government. Then the productive investment culture which is coming in India. And the last one is the untapped pool of investors who are coming to the mutual fund industry, making this industry to have the projection. If we can look at 2047, what kind of projections I can look at is India's AUM can be at 640 trillion. This is the projections we can look at. How you got these projections? If I can look at the India, if is growing at 5, the current on average in the last 10 years is 5.2 to 5.4% the growth rate scenario. I am not even taking the current growth rate. And if India is going to have a 3,200 lakh crores of a GDP, nominal GDP, 20% of the AUM will come to 640 lakh crores. Means, the kind of growth we can look at. And if I am moving to global average 16% to 60%, things can be much better. I mean, 30% of the GDP, it could be 960 lakh crores, or it can be if I am getting 40%, if we are successful, and it could be a 1280 lakh crores. This is what the future of asset management industry, and this is where asset management industry can, and mutual fund which can serve for every one of us. I had one of my ex-bosses, my first boss in the mutual fund industry, Mr. Kurian, executive trustee used to be, and he used to tell me, beta mutual funds में दो ही लोग निवेश नहीं कर सकते हैं. कौन कौन है वो? One, those who have not born, and those who have not those unborn, and those who have dead and gone. Rest of the people, mutual funds can invest any stage for any amount of time, and this is where mutual funds are well regulated. And
थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग.
कहाँ है अपना हीरो?
बैठा है अपने रूम में, 2 दिन हो गए, बाहर ही नहीं आ रहा, और कुछ बोलो तो ऐसे गुस्सा हो रहा है.
डोंट वरी.
क्या है आई? काका,
क्या मैं अंदर आऊं?
हाय काका.
क्या हुआ? ब्रेकअप हुआ तेरा?
नहीं 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 काका.
चल मुझे बता क्या हुआ. ये बात हमारे बीच रहेगी.
आई हैव लॉस्ट एवरीथिंग काका. मैंने अपनी 3 साल की सारी सेविंग्स ज्यादा फायदे के चक्कर में नए ट्रेंड्स पे लगा दी. दोस्तों ने भी कहा इट्स द फ्यूचर, डोंट मिस आउट. और पिछले महीने भी मार्केट वैल्यू डबल हो गई थी. लेकिन
सोशल मीडिया पे किसी ने कुछ कहा, और एनीवेज जिन इन्वेस्टमेंट पे रेगुलेशंस नहीं होते वो क्यों ग्रो हो रहे हैं, उनकी वैल्यू क्यों बढ़ रही है, किसी को कुछ नहीं पता. क्या तुम उसे स्मार्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट कहोगे?
आई विश आई हैड थॉट ऑफ दिस.
रिलैक्स. टेक दिस एज अ लेसन एंड मूव टू प्रॉपर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स लाइक म्यूचुअल फंड्स. वो रेगुलेटेड है, वेरीफाइड भी है, एंड आर हैंडल्ड बाय एक्सपर्ट्स.
पर काका, अब तो मैं पूरा जीरो पे आ गया हूँ. काका.
हीरो, टेक दिस एज योर वेडिंग गिफ्ट.
थैंक्स काका.
चलो टेक केयर. अब सब सही है.
very few of us are blessed to get that money back by somebody who can give us. And once last is last. And ensure that, while we are investing, we need to take care of our goals and investing according to our goals. Understand your risk profile and understand your goals. And then mutual fund sahi hai, the mutual fund saral hai. And it's not the speaking from that, but getting onto the ground is the most important. And some of you got already invested with a mutual fund industry, probably try to look and step it up. And some of you have not start. This is an industry to be in. And thank you so much for this opportunity. Mohit, I am on time, and 20 minutes you said, right? It is I am little. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Wishing you all very happy investing, and God bless you. And thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.